Dramatic scene near the home of Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor. A deputy U.S. Marshal parked near her Washington, D.C. home, shooting an armed suspect, a carjacking suspect.
Isn't it interesting that those that claim to be anti-gun have no issue with guns protecting them? Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel-like content and what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything's appreciated. Connecticut residents, going to get your Connecticut pistol permit, please make sure your training is on par with the new state requirements. If you already have your permit, watch the expiration date. Don't let it expire. There's a link to the online renewal portal for the state of Connecticut for permits in the description box. Keep an eye on that. Let's talk about this. And this is an interesting story, which basically was reported yesterday. But Chief Justice Sotomayor was at her home and she had two marshals who were sitting out in front of her house protecting her, which I find to be very ironic, seeing that she seems to be very fervently anti-gun. But an 18-year-old armed with a handgun, gun control does not work, but tried to carjack the two marshals, obviously not knowing who they were. The two marshals shot the carjacker. He's still alive. He was arrested, of course. But there's two angles I want to come in on with this story. First and foremost, in DC, it is legal to use deadly force to protect yourself and to protect property, but it is limited. So I wondered if the regular normie, John Jane Doe citizen, had done the same thing, there would have been a tremendous amount of scrutiny, whereas these marshals they're just doing their job, proverbial pass. Now, I have no problem with what they did. One less scumbag on the street, I have no issue with it. But I just wonder how the regular people, the everyday citizen, we the people, will be scrutinized for doing the exact same thing under this exact same set of circumstances. Would we basically be charged? Maybe. Would we get off in a trial? Possibly. But we should never come under different scrutiny than if the action was done by, in this case, a marshal. And you got to remember, this is not the first time that a law enforcement official at a federal level has been in a position protecting a high-profile person. Remember, Secret Service, Joe Biden, the president's daughter. Remember, they shot at carjackers who were trying to steal their vehicle, even though nobody was in the vehicle. Okay? Then you also had a Secret Service agent who was robbed in California at gunpoint, which is hysterical. But that person opened fire on their assailant. Once again, in those cases, if a regular person had done it, they would come under tremendous scrutiny. I don't like these rules for the idea. If somebody comes up to you with a firearm, you have to be of the opinion that person's going to use it. And you should be able to defend yourself accordingly if you can. But let me give you more information on what happened at Sotomayor's house.
New details emerging today about an alarming incident involving gunfire near the home of Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor. It was just after 1:17 a.m. Friday morning when authorities say Kentrell Flowers, 18, approached a car sitting in front of Sotomayor's home. Police say Flowers walked to the driver's door and pointed a gun at the occupants, attempting a carjacking. But what he didn't realize is that the people in the car were U.S. Marshals protecting the home of the Supreme Court Justice. One of the deputy U.S. Marshals firing 4 shots, wounding Flowers in the mouth. The second U.S. Marshal firing as well. According to police, the incident appears to be random, with no connection to Sotomayor.
Heard that and you saw that. Now, you already heard my one aspect of it when it comes to how these situations are viewed when it's a federal marshal, a Secret Service agent, and what have you. Regardless of what position they're in, or if they're fulfilling their duties or not. The Secret Service agent in California was off duty at the time, but they're allowed to use deadly force. Pretty much willy-nilly, whereas you and I, John Jane Doe citizen, would be scrutinized differently, and that's not right. But another interesting aspect, as we know, Sotomayor is not a friend of the Second Amendment. She is not a friend of individual liberty. She is not a friend of individual gun ownership. Yet she seems to have zero issue with armed guards protecting her. And I find that to be just hypocritical on an epic level. All of these anti-gun persons, Biden, going right down the line, Schumer, Pelosi, we can go on and on. We could just name off every anti-gun person, and every single one of them has an armed guard. What they're saying is my life is more important than yours. That's all I get from that. Now, let me be clear. These people are not anti-gun. You've heard me say this before. They're not anti-gun. They're anti-you having a gun, not themselves. They think they're above you and deserve the protection, not you, because their lives are more important than yours. That's all there is to it. That's a narcissistic attitude that they have, and that's who they are. But to cap what happened here, I have no problem with what these marshals did. It's just, if the regular normie had done it, they'd be scrutinized a whole lot more differently. That's the problem I have with it. And I also have a problem with the fact that these people who claim to be, against gun ownership have no problem with armed security protecting them. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.